What does this mean about what happens next? Perfect guest. The author of From Hamas to America, My Story of Defying Terror, Facing the Unimaginable, and Finding Redemption in the Land of Opportunity. Out next week. Mosab Hassan Yousef. It's good to see you.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you. Why do I care about what is happening over there? They're killing each other. Israel seems to be a little bit better at it when it comes to targeting specific leaders in other countries. Why does this matter to Americans?
Because we are one family. And when we have a member of the family who is outrageous, think that they have the right to decide who can exist and who cannot, then we must stand united. Because the moment we legitimize violence in the Middle East, we will legitimize violence everywhere.
But many Americans will say, Mosab, you're right. Israel should have never done this. They can't assassinate people in other countries. They shouldn't be doing any of this. What's your response?
Well, Israel is eliminating the terrorists who carried the October 7 attacks that killed many civilians, that they're determined to repeat the massacre again and again and again. So Israel is after these criminals. They are global terrorists, destabilizing security worldwide. So what else to do? Wait for them to come again, stronger, kill more people? We'll have to bring them to justice. And these people have been hiding, by the way. If Israel was able to arrest them and bring them to justice, that would have been the ideal situation. But we are dealing with terrorists who are hiding among civilians, or they using countries for immunity. So what is the option?
Well, but we're seeing escalation. This is now a true regional conflict, right? You had the Houthis in Yemen. You know, some of this, you benefit from Americans not being as savvy about the map as people are in the Middle East. But the Houthis are in Yemen, different country. They hit people in Lebanon now, in Syria, and in Iran. Are these hits making the situation safer or expanding it and leading to here if Turkey wants to get involved? Is this making it worse?
Listen, I just came back from Tel Aviv. When the Houthis hit with a drone, their target was the United States Embassy. They missed with an inch, and the drone hit the building next to the building where I was sleeping. This was an assault against civilization. When you hit a city indiscriminately, not having a regard to any civilian, to women, to children, you'll have to counter that. And Iran hit Israel with hundreds of ballistic missiles on April 14th. I visited the north. 80,000 Israelis been evacuated since the beginning of the war. We are almost 10 months now. These people been staying in the south at hotels. I met with the mayor of Kiryat Shmona. It's a ghost town. This is the biggest city, border city between Israel and Lebanon. It's a ghost town. And nobody's talking about this crisis. So
isn't it an argument, though, that military power isn't going to solve the situation? We need a ceasefire, and you have to go to soft power? Now, the problem with my argument is, of course, they're still holding the hostages. But isn't all of this proof that you have to talk, not fight, if you want this to end?
No, in fact, talk was over when Iran and its proxies committed a genocide against a religious minority in the Middle East.
The Jews.
I think the Jewish people. And this is when the talk was over. This is what the world needs to understand. We woke up on October 7 on a new reality that now we are dealing with the consequences of such an attack. And it's not over yet. All the assassinations that we are witnessing, this is just the beginning of it. There is a long list of terrorists that must be brought to justice.
In Iran, you think they'll keep making hits inside Iran? And how long is it until they respond? And then what do we do?
In Iran, in Qatar, in Turkey, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen, wherever they are. They missed with the most powerful intelligence service in the world, with the longest arm that can get anybody anywhere. That's the Mossad.
Which makes October 7th...
It's designed to protect the Jewish people.
But it makes October 7th even more suspicious, right? How did that happen unless Netanyahu wanted this war. That's the conspiracy theory that we hear here. We heard the same thing about 9/11, by the way, that Bush wanted it because it gave him a war he could win. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.